According to Realtor.com, in December, the median listing price for a home was up more than 13% from the previous year. And while Realtor.com says the number of homes for sale dipped below 700,000 for the first time. Investors say buyers can still take advantage of low rates and offset the steep rises in home prices if they expand their horizons and are flexible.
People can move out 10, 15 minutes from where they're looking in their search criteria and still find those affordable houses.
11Alive News at noon starts now.
Right now on 11Alive, Fulton County forced to recertify its election results in the runoffs. The problem discovered with votes in 2 separate precincts. And President-elect Joe Biden assumes office tomorrow amid an unprecedented national crisis. The swift action the Biden administration plans to take on day 1. Plus, Fulton County schools return to the classroom. The extra steps the district is taking to keep students and staff safe. New on midday, Fulton County election officials forced to certify their results for the January 5th runoff races for a second time. This after the state discovered issues with 2 precincts' results 2 weeks after the election. Liza Lucas has the details.
Several members of the board did not hold back their frustration during the meeting after they had to go through the certification process again because of an error. According to Fulton County Elections Director Richard Barron, state officials were the ones who called the county asking them to double-check numbers on 2 precincts in Milton. Barron said the state discovered that while the ballot images were uploaded, 660 votes were not included in the county's totals.
Bottom line is that you had the images.
Yes.
What didn't happen on 660 voters' ballots, they did not get included in the totals for the votes cast for those 2 precincts. So
Correct.
What you're trying to work with Dominion on is how in the world does that happen?
County election officials said the software should send an alert when results are not tabulated. They've since double-checked the other precincts, but board members were upfront in voicing their concerns for the process.
Yeah, it seems real convoluted in the way it's being presented to the board, and I'm just very concerned.
We're 2 weeks now post, the actual election day. That has to get cleaned up.
State election official Gabriel Sterling also weighed in via Twitter, saying the mistake was discovered. This is why we have reviews at the state level. Barron admitted that this was an error his team should have caught and will need to be addressed going forward. His team also now working with Dominion software to figure out why these votes weren't tabulated in the first place.
Liza, thank you. Turning now to Washington, D.C. and the countdown to inauguration. In about 24 hours, President-elect Joe Biden assumes office, the final day of the Trump administration ending during a pandemic and economic crisis, along with threats of possible domestic terrorism. Nadia Romero has the latest.
Checkpoints, barricades, and up to 25,000 National Guard troops. Washington looks like a war zone on the eve of one of American democracy's most important rights.
What we see in Washington, D.C. is overwhelming forces being deployed to make sure we have a peaceful transfer of power.
On the last full day of his term, President Donald Trump will likely be issuing dozens of pardons and commutations, all as he is set to face a post-presidency legal battle of his own, an impeachment trial in the U.S. Senate.
The people who are going to be the jurors, those 100 senators, are not only witnesses but also victims of the crime.
First Lady Melania Trump issuing a farewell message Monday.
The past 4 years have been unforgettable.
As the Trumps plan to leave Wednesday morning for their Florida home at Mar-a-Lago and skip the historic rites that traditionally mark the transition, including a White House meeting with the new first family. But as Trump departs, Joe Biden will assume office amid unprecedented crises.
I'll speak for Joe and myself in saying that we're going into Wednesday knowing that we're ready to do the work.
The incoming administration says they're ready to take swift action to improve and speed up COVID-19 vaccine distribution, stamping out the virus and bolstering the economy.
We do believe with hard work and with the cooperation and collaboration of the members of the United States Congress that we can get it done.
Now, the president-elect plans to unveil a sweeping immigration bill on day 1. It would provide an 8-year path to citizenship for an estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the U.S. Biden is also pledging to take a more human approach to those arriving at the border and roll back the Trump administration's stricter policies. Now, the bill is set to be introduced after Biden takes the oath of office on tomorrow. A new NBC News poll is shedding light on the challenges ahead for the Biden administration. The president-elect faces an increasingly polarized, pessimistic, and pained nation. According to the responses, 73% of voters think the country will remain divided, and more than 70% believe the country is on the wrong track. Overall, Biden approval rating stands at 60%. That's higher than Trump's transition approval, but lower than former President Obama's. Voters give Biden positive marks for how he's handled the transition, even as Trump has refused to concede his defeat. And here in Georgia, ahead of the inauguration, police and National Guard troops are preparing for possible armed protests at the state capitol. For the latest, including the road closures near the city hall, tomorrow, head on over to 11alive.com. Chesley.
All right, thanks a lot, Francesca. Take a look at this picture here. I showed it to you last half hour, and we had full sunshine. Now you can see where the clouds are starting to take over the skies here in Noonan. We still have a little sun poking through, but you can see those clouds are starting to push further in. Don't expect much in the way of rainfall, just a mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the afternoon. Here's a better look at it now on the radar. You can see where we started out nice and clear, even down here in Coweta County. Now those clouds are starting to push a little bit further down to the south, and they'll overtake our area. Will any rain fall out of those clouds? Well, in some spots, you may get a sprinkle or two. That will be it. About a 20% chance or less for the rest of the afternoon. For the most part, a lot of us will continue to be dry. We're watching it, though, back off to the west. Got a front making its way down toward us. Ahead of it, you can see the rain extending from Mississippi into Alabama. It's very light for the most part. Again, you could see a dot or two on your windshield, especially as you're driving home. I suspect that won't get in here until later on as we head into the evening. As far as the temperatures, look at this. We're already at 58. That was my high for today. Busted right there. 59 degrees in Athens, 57 degrees over toward Edenton, 57 also in Thomaston. You're at 58 in LaGrange. You got 54 degrees in Marietta. Still some 40s out and some 30s as well. You're at 38 degrees right now in Blairsville. That is the cool spot. You're looking at 47 degrees up in Rome, Georgia's Rome. So there you have it. Temperatures may hit 60 before falling off. Now, they're not going to rise all that much now that the clouds have pushed into the forecast area. So I think we're going to remain in the 50s for highs today, or at least close to 60 degrees. 51 degrees with mostly cloudy skies by 7 o'clock tonight. Again, if we see any rain at all, it'll be mainly in the form of sprinkles. We're not expecting or anticipating much rain today. As we head into Thursday, that's where things will begin to change. We'll talk more about that in the full forecast coming up. Back to you.
Chesley, thank you. We are learning more about a Georgia attorney now charged in the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Investigators say this man, William McCall Calhoun Jr.'s social media posts laid out his alleged participation before, during, and after the siege. The FBI says Calhoun boasted about being one of the first to kick in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office door. Calhoun was arrested on Friday and is set to have his detention and preliminary hearing this week. Many students in Fulton County returned to the classroom today for face-to-face learning. Fulton schools had originally planned once again to offer face-to-face instruction as an option a week ago, but it was delayed until now after a post-holiday surge in COVID cases. The district says it consulted with health officials in making the decision to return. The majority of Fulton schools are reporting 2 or fewer COVID cases, according to the district, and it says it will consider going back to completely virtual learning on a case-by-case basis if needed. Now, over the weekend, hundreds of Fulton teachers and staff who are 65 or older received COVID-19 vaccinations at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Fulton County Board of Health also vaccinated spouses of school employees. An indicator today, some students and staff also returned to the classroom for the first time since the pandemic began. This return only includes students in grades kindergarten through 5th. The school district is taking extra measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by hiring additional staff to help keep classroom sizes down. Now, students in grades 6 through 12 will continue with virtual learning. And right now, the number of new COVID cases in Georgia is trending downward. The state reporting more than 4,300 new cases yesterday. That number was nearly unheard of before December. But the good news is the average number of new cases each day is down 18% from last week. Now, Georgia is also making progress getting more available vaccines to the public. This past week, we've averaged 33,000 doses a day, and that's double the week before. And the United States has now surpassed 24 million coronavirus cases. That's according to Johns Hopkins University. And according to NBC News, more than 400,000 people have now died from the virus since the start of the pandemic right here in the U.S. The first coronavirus case in the U.S. was reported a year ago, and it took the country 304 days to reach 12 million cases and only 59 days to add another 12 million. The CDC says there are at least 122 cases of a new strain of the coronavirus first found in the United Kingdom. Right now, breaking that down, Florida has the most of this variant strain with 46 cases. California is reporting 40 of those cases, and Georgia is still reporting just 1. But the CDC warns that its data does not represent the total number of cases circulating in the U.S. The new variant is considered more contagious, but there's no evidence that it's deadlier or causes more severe symptoms. And today, Hartsfield-Jackson Airport will be featured as part of a national wave of COVID-19 memorials. Atlanta, one of several cities taking part. The memorial will honor and pay tribute to the 400,000 lives lost to the virus in this country. At 5:30 p.m., President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will gather at the Lincoln Memorial in D.C., where 400 lights will be illuminated in the reflecting pool in honor of those who have died. Cities around the country will also light up buildings and ring church bells. Stone Mountain's courthouse is shut down for the rest of the month due to COVID-19. Officials posting on the city's Facebook page that an infected person had been inside the courthouse, which is located at City Hall. Court sessions and cases through the 29th of January will be rescheduled. The city is now planning to thoroughly clean their building. Also, in DeKalb County, leaders are planning to tackle illegal street racing. On Thursday, Commissioner Larry Johnson will host a virtual panel discussion on the issue. The virtual meeting will be held on the 21st from 6 until 7 p.m., and you can watch it on Commissioner Johnson's Facebook page. And new today, the Atlanta Falcons announced its new general manager. Here he is right here. 40-year-old Terry Fontenot comes to Atlanta after spending 16 seasons with division rival New Orleans. He helped build a consistent winner as the Saints vice president and assistant general manager in charge of pro personnel. Fontenot is Atlanta's first black general manager. After an 0-5 start this past season, the Falcons fired both head coach Dan Quinn and general manager Thomas Dimitroff. Now, last week, the Falcons announced Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, son of FedEx founder. He will be the next head coach, so welcome Terry Fontenot to the team. All right, so many of you still have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine. Coming up, an expert takes on your most pressing concerns about vaccinations.
We're quite the combo.
The President of the United States was accusing you of voter fraud.
Oh, I know it, and I knew it wasn't fraud.
Mr. James Blaylock voted in the election, the president's campaign tweeted. The only problem, he passed away 14 years ago. False. James Blaylock did not vote. Mrs. James Blaylock voted.
After our investigation, national news outlets owned up to their false claims, and the president's campaign deleted the tweet.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11Alive storm trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. For storm trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in Georgia. Now get facts, not fear, at 11alive.com/COVID numbers. Track cases by county using our interactive map and get the latest health department data. Visit 11alive.com/COVID numbers.
A sign of relief across half the nation. The rest feeling devastation.
In Georgia, we can now focus on the 2 Senate races here that are still unresolved.
It's not over yet. You can still make history. The balance of power in Georgia voters' hands, whatever side you take, could determine the nation's fate. Your vote still matters. Stay involved, stay informed with journalism that gives you a real voice.
Breaking news, the hand tally of nearly 5 million votes is now complete.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash flood warning that just popped up here.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a 3rd time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us. Talk to us.
think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush weekdays, 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
Quick, open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state,
As the COVID-19 vaccine slowly rolls out, there are still questions about them, like how effective is the vaccination and how long does it protect me? And once you get the shot, are you still able to transmit the virus to others? Healy Chalmers spoke with an expert.
The good news is that they're very effective, and I need to say that again and again. And I'll be happy to say that because these are 95% effective.
Dr. Gaurav Sahai is an expert on vaccine development at Oregon State University. He answered questions regarding the 2 COVID-19 vaccines currently being administered. And while he stressed the effectiveness of the vaccines has been well proven, there are still some questions surrounding them, such as how long the 2-shot vaccinations will last.
What I'm learning is Moderna basically saying that this will last for at least an year.
But Dr. Sahai says because these are new vaccines, researchers will have to wait for definitive answers.
What we are seeing with the data that is there, that the antibody levels are still high after a couple of months once these were injected. So it looks like a positive sign, but we'll have to wait and see how long they'll last.
Another question, even if you get the vaccine, can you still spread the virus to others? Dr. Sahai says that would only happen if you got the vaccine but still contracted the virus, which according to studies happens in only about 5% of cases. But the doctor says even then, it's not yet known if an infected yet vaccinated person can spread the virus.
The people who might end up getting the virus even after getting a vaccination, whether the spread stops there as well, that part we don't know. But majority of people getting it are not getting infected. And that is how we are boxing in the virus.
The doctor expects more vaccines that will be easier to store will be introduced in the coming months. And we should all roll up our sleeves to get them.
At the end of the day, we need people to get vaccinated to 70-80% to get that herd immunity. So basically a very large population. And they are also then not spreading it.
Well, 12:16 is the current time. What are your plans for this afternoon? Despite the fact that the clouds are rolling in, maybe you want to get outside and do some exercise. It's warm out there already, or I should say mild out there. What would we classify warm? Like 70s, 80s? We're not going to get that high today, but temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s, closer to 60 degrees for an afternoon high temperature today. I'm thinking some tennis. I haven't been out there in a while, swing the old racket around a little bit. Got to brush off the leaves first, get them out the way, and then, man, hit that ball. If you can find a partner. If not, if you live in my area, hook me up. I might go out with you. Mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the afternoon. Already at 58 in the city of Atlanta. Already there. Yeah, so temperatures may exceed that as we head into the afternoon, although the clouds are starting to take over, so I don't think it'll go up much higher than that right now. Also, a little bit of wet weather up here to the far north. Now, I haven't seen any reports of any rain reaching the ground, so it may be just a dot or two on your windshield or evaporating at least before it hits the ground. About a 20% chance that we could see an isolated shower or two pop up, so it's a very low chance. Mostly, you're going to be dry for this afternoon. Look at these temperatures, already in the upper 50s. You got 58 degrees right now in Atlanta and down through LaGrange, 54 degrees in Covington, 57, a popular number. Got in Peachtree City, Thomaston, over toward Edenton as well. 47 right now in Georgia's Rome. You're looking at 46 in Canton, 53 degrees in Gainesville, 38, the cool spot up in Blairsville, 38. Still very chilly up there. We started out with temperatures in the 30s, even some 20s out there, and so this warm up is really nice. Look at that, 59 degrees just jumped up there in Athens and over toward Edenton. So getting on up there closer to the 60s, and we'll have some readings in the 60s for this afternoon as those clouds begin to take over the area. Again, mix of sun and clouds for the afternoon, very low chance for the rain, hence the 8 that we have on the whizometer. It's how we rate your weather on a scale from 1 to 11, with 11 being the most perfect day we can have at this time of year. Not quite there. We should be around 52 for this time of year, so that is above our average. But with the clouds and with that threat for a shower, certainly we have to lower the number. Man, sure would like to be a 10 or an 11. I think the best day of the week so far would have been yesterday, where we had full sunshine and temperatures got up into the middle 50s. You can see the rain back off to the west of us, trying to make its way on over here. You can see as it moves into central Alabama, starts to fade a little bit there. Some of that may try to make it in here for today, but likely it will remain dry. There's a better look at the front and the high pressure that's sliding off to the east of us. Got that southwesterly flow coming in, helping to boost that temperature up just a bit for us. And so, yeah, that's why we're seeing those temperatures on the high side, if you will. Here it is, our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time. Right there at the top of the screen, it shows the clouds moving right on southward, starting to thicken up as well. Again, a 20% chance for the rain won't come until after about 6 or 7 o'clock. Again, you see a few sprinkles here and there, mostly dry, but the clouds do take over, and they'll stick around for the rest of the evening. In fact, it won't be till after midnight that we're expecting the clouds to start to sink a little bit further down to the south and begin to clear out through the overnight. In fact, temperatures will drop back down in some spots down into the 30s, so it will be a cool start for us on Wednesday morning. By the afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Don't get used to it, though. Here comes more clouds moving right on in. After about 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start to see the clouds take over the area, which means we'll start off our Thursday with mostly sunny, mostly cloudy skies, and the rain will follow that. We'll give it about a 40% chance during the early morning and into the early afternoon for a stray shower or some light rain to pop up, but it'll get heavier for us as we head into the evening going into Friday. So that'll be our rainy days. We'll catch a break over the weekend, and then more rain comes back to us as we head into next week.
With less than 24 hours left in office, President Donald Trump remains out of sight. Aides say he's preparing to issue dozens of pardons for allies and supporters as he also gets ready to move out the White House. NBC's Peter Alexander reports.
With one day until he becomes a former president, Donald Trump remains secluded inside the White House, out of sight for an entire week. The president preparing to issue a barrage of pardons and commutations before his term expires tomorrow, huddling in the Oval Office Monday with advisors, including daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner. Mr. Trump is not expected to take the politically explosive step of granting protective pardons to himself or members of his family, according to 3 sources familiar with the president's thinking. Instead, he's eyeing possible pardons for dozens of others, from high-profile allies to lesser-known supporters, as well as offenders serving long sentences for nonviolent drug crimes. A White House official says Kushner and Ivanka Trump have reviewed recommendations from criminal justice reform advocates like Alice Johnson, who the president pardoned last year after commuting her life sentence for a first-time nonviolent drug offense. Tomorrow, President Trump will become the first living president in more than 150 years to skip his successor's inauguration, leaving the White House early in the morning, ignoring a time-honored transfer of power ritual, where the outgoing president and first lady welcomed the new first family, as the Obamas did for the Trumps 4 years ago. Also out, the Inauguration Day drive together to the Capitol. First Lady Melania Trump releasing her farewell address that included an apparent reference to this month's riots, where President Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol after his fiery rhetoric spurred them on.
Be passionate in everything you do, but always remember that violence is never the answer and will never be justified.
Still ahead, Americans on the edge of a steep political divide. Next, tips to keep your cool when jumping into a political debate with family and friends.
Heard on. James Blaylock did not vote. Mrs. James Blaylock voted.
After our investigation, national news outlets owned up to their false claims, and the president's campaign deleted the tweet.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11Alive storm trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. For storm trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in Georgia. Now get facts, not fear, at 11alive.com/COVID numbers. Track cases by county using our interactive map and get the latest health department data. Visit 11alive.com/COVID numbers.
A sign of relief across half the nation. The rest feeling devastation.
In Georgia, we can now focus on the 2 Senate races here that are still unresolved.
It's not over yet. You can still make history. The balance of power In Georgia voters' hands, whatever side you take could determine the nation's fate. Your vote still matters. Stay involved, stay informed with journalism that gives you a real voice.
Breaking news, the hand tally of nearly 5 million votes is now complete.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash.
With so much political tension in the air, it can lead to arguments and broken relationships with family and friends. We are where Atlanta speaks, so 11Alive's Ron Jones spoke with a psychologist about how to discuss your differences without sacrificing those important relationships.
You're not going to change the other person's mind.
Dr. Suzanne Swift is a clinical psychologist with the group HEAL.
Their views are set because of their beliefs, because of their experiences.
Dr. Swift suggests when having a political dispute with family or friends, focus on your common ground instead of differences.
Now, are you trying to change the other person's mind, or are you coming from a place of understanding rather than judgment? Listen to them and hear what they're saying. You know, find something that you might agree on.
We're careful about the things we talk about. There's really no fighting or anything. Agree to disagree.
This is where Atlanta speaks. Most people we spoke with say they would rather protect their relationship than win the argument.
So how important is it for you to maintain those relationships?
We just don't talk about it.
And then it gets real heated. Yeah, I don't like to talk politics with friends, family, nobody.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get along.
Right.
It's okay to disagree on things.
But what about those debates with random people on social media? Dr. Swift says those fruitless fights can be detrimental to your mental health.
Turn it off. Let it go. Take some time away from it.
And for those family and friends not willing to protect the relationship?
If you let that control your friendship, then it wasn't really a friendship to begin with.
Ooh, she delivered a word. Now, Dr. Swift also says in the end, it comes down to what you value more, the relationship or your differences. We'll be right back.
Making sure this history isn't erased.
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up. Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
with all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush, weekdays on 11Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Ram.
Here in Atlanta, bad weather means bad traffic. A few drops of rain could destroy a commute. But that's where my man Crash Clark comes in. I go street level, he goes next level. Together, we make sure you get to work on time. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive. Hey, quick, open up your phone camera right now. Aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you right to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
Journalism that gives you a real voice.
At Morning Rush, that's our commitment each and every day.
And why we're honored to have been recognized for Best Morning Newscast for the second year in a row.
If you haven't yet, check us out. See why we're where Atlanta speaks.
Atlanta roads are my thing. ITP, OTP, Ponce, Piedmont, all the peach trees. Combined with Chesley's street level forecast, that's a lot of tech and experience to help your commute.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
We're quite the combo.
The President of the United States was accusing you of voter fraud.
Oh, I know it, and I knew it wasn't fraud.
Mr. James Blaylock voted in the election, the president's campaign tweeted. The only problem, he passed away 14 years ago. False. James Blaylock did not vote. Mrs. James Blaylock voted.
After our investigation, national news outlets owned up to their false claims, and the president's campaign deleted the tweet.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11Alive Storm Trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. For Storm Trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in Georgia. Now
A 12-year-old Georgia boy will show off his trumpet-playing skills as part of tomorrow's inauguration. We first brought you the story of Jason Zagance as he played his trumpet every single night in tribute to healthcare workers in front of Emory Healthcare in Decatur. Well, he will take part in the virtual parade as one of America's heroes in the community. He will play along with the New York Philharmonic trumpeter who inspired him. Inspiring, to say the least. We want to thank you so much for watching 11 Alive News at noon. I'm Francesca Emmerker. And remember, the news continues on 11alive.com and the 11 Alive app. Have a great day.
Breaking news, the hand tally of nearly 5 million votes is now complete.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash flood warning that just popped up here.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a third time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you on